All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're back here talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, it actually seems like NFL media, NFL fans from across the country are finally realizing that, all right, you know what? Pittsburgh has something. There's something there. They're going to be a decent team. Nobody's really saying they're going to be a playoff lock. They're going to be a 10-plus win season. That's what we're saying on this channel. We're going to talk more about why in today's video, and it all starts with preseason. So Kenny Pickett was perfect passer rating in preseason. He looked poised. He looked in control. The leadership. We got everything we wanted from Kenny Pickett in preseason, but there's one crazy stat that they led in offensively that we talked about on this channel all freaking summer. Kenny Pickett talked about it this summer. George Pickens talked about it this summer, and that is the deep ball. You know, last year's Steelers offense, it was a little bit more risk averse, right? They took some deep shots, but that's going to take their offense to the next level this upcoming season. So the Steelers led the entire NFL in deep ball passing rate during the preseason. And once again, we want to reiterate the fact that Kenny Pickett threw for a perfect passer rating in the preseason. They went 5 of 5 first-string offense scoring touchdowns in the 5 drives that they were out there. They were looking great, but that deep ball, specifically in that last game against Atlanta, we saw it on the first drive of the game. We saw George Pickens catch like a crazy ball. We saw it to Deontay Johnson. We saw the deep ball in preseason, as you know, the stat equates for, but not only did they lead the NFL on deep ball passing rate, but that's actually up over 10% from 2022. So that's going to be something that takes the Steelers offense to the next level. And we're going to talk about a couple of more things in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. Steelers fans, you guys are literally awesome, man. We're posting a couple of Steelers videos every single week. You guys are blessing every single one of them. I appreciate you guys so much. If you could try and get this video to 500 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So, you know, one thing that this Steelers team really struck out to me, like the second I started covering this squad this summer, was they're having a blast. Like the energy, the aura, the vibe of this squad it's honestly immaculate. Like they're vibing, they've got the momentum on their favor after just almost as perfect of a preseason as you could possibly get. And the leadership and the mentorship ability that this Steelers team went out and acquired and already had, guys like TJ Watt mentoring Nick Herbig, who absolutely feasted, by the way, in preseason. Like Nick Herbig, you know, the edge rusher, the rookie, the 132nd pick, he earned the highest grade of any rookie not drafted in the first round with a PFF grade of 90.6. He finished with a forced fumble, 3.5 sacks, one of the league's top marks. I know it was preseason, and it's not first stringers, you know, the whole time out there. But Nick Herbig looked great. And the TJ Watt mentorship, leadership to a guy like Nick Herbig, it's something you can't even like count in as a statistic. Like it's hard to really even put into words how much of an impact that is. But it's not just TJ Watt. It's also new additions, Allen Robinson, mentoring, giving these guys just everything possible. How to carry yourself, improvement, you know, adding tricks to your bag, how to handle yourself against adversity, all of these things that you go through across the course of a regular season and the playoffs. Having a guy like Allen Robinson mentoring George Pickens, mentoring Calvin Austin, having these veterans like Patrick Peterson mentoring young rookies like Joey Porter Jr., these are things that are going to make a big time impact come the end of the season. And I think a great example, unfortunately, is the Kansas City Chiefs of last year. Like their defense was extremely young and a lot of rookies specifically on that secondary, but the veterans leading the way. Come playoff time, they were good to go. And obviously the Chiefs end up winning the Super Bowl, but hopefully you get the point. The mentorship, the leadership ability that some of these veterans are going to provide for these young players, it's I don't even know how to explain it. You can't even explain it. You'll just see it. We'll see it, right? All right. Now, another thing about this Steelers team that I think a lot of people forget, they're really healthy. Their star players specifically stay healthy. And I know TJ Watt missed, you know, a chunk of the season last year. TJ Watt's been in the league for several seasons. That was the first time in TJ Watt's career that he missed more than one game in a regular season. The first time in his career. We've said it on this channel, and a lot of Steelers fans agree with this statement. I have 2 statements on last year's Steelers. I think if Kenny Pickett started the whole year, they make the playoffs. I also think if TJ Watt didn't get injured, they certainly make the playoffs. So it's a great sign that their main star players offensively and defensively stay healthy. They're reliable, healthy players, which goes a very, very long way. But obviously, the Steelers have a bunch of depth, and I actually want to talk about new addition off the waivers, Desmond King. So Desmond King has been in the league since 2017. If you remember, he came into the league with the Los Angeles Chargers, made an all-pro team in his second year. Now, I've asked many Texans fans about their thoughts on them cutting Desmond King because he played with Houston the last 2 seasons. He had just under 200 total tackles. He had 5 combined interceptions and 14 pass deflections. This is a great defensive back to just have as depth, but not only as depth, in the slot, this guy's good. Like Desmond King is still a very good defensive back in this league, and he joins an already deep defensive back unit. So one big thing specifically, actually, not even counting the secondary, one big thing that's been a difference maker between this year's Steelers and last year's Steelers is just simply put depth. They have a lot more depth, specifically in the trenches. You know, we've talked about it all summer. Isaac Seumalo coming on over, Broderick Jones coming on over, first round in the draft, getting guys like Patrick Peterson, getting these guys like Keanu Neal, Chandon Sullivan, Desmond King. This is a super Quan Alexander. This team is so freaking deep. Like, here are some of their backup players defensively. Keanu Benton, DeMarvin Leal, Nick Herbig, Quan Alexander, Mark Robinson, Patrick Peterson, Keanu Neal, Chandon Sullivan, Desmond King. This is such a deep freaking roster, and it's going to really pay tenfold when it starts getting cold. And I know these are things that go without saying, but once it gets cold, especially take a look at the running back room. What's the most important thing for a young quarterback? A running back. And the Steelers have 3 of them. Najee Harris, we want to keep him fully healthy come playoff time, right? I'm expecting the Steelers to make a playoff run. And if Najee Harris is healthy, well, that goes a long way. You've got Jaylen Warren. You've got Anthony McFarland Jr. Now you've got guys like Connor Haywood and Darnell Washington backing up Pat Freiermuth. Like, there's just so much freaking depth on this roster. It's actually unbelievable. So when I watch these, talking shows, or I read these articles and people are like, finally now after preseason, they're starting to ponder the fact that the Steelers could make the playoffs. And as we've alluded to all summer in this video, we've talked about last season. I mean, the Steelers realistically, all things considered, the way their season started last year, the fact that they went 9-8 and almost made the playoffs is extremely impressive. So not only do they have momentum coming in from their win streak to end the year last year, but they also killed it on all 3 sides, offensively, defensively, and special teams in the preseason. So that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I'm sure I'll get a Steelers video out before the start of the regular season, but if not, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I know you're excited for Steelers football. This team is going to shock some people. I will do predictions, previews, all that stuff this upcoming week, so stay tuned for that. But as always, hit that like button, hit that sub button, stay tuned for new clips. I appreciate your guys' patience so much as the season begins. That's it from me.